October 2015. A secure phone rings inside CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia. The call was placed on CIA Director John Brennan's private line. He picked up the call only to hear a voice say,
"Hello, John Brennan. You're a loser."
He was shocked to hear that. He asked, "Who is this? How did you get this number?" But the caller replied with,
"It was so easy, bro. We want $5 trillion from you." "Wait, I'm just kidding. We already own you."
And he hung up. Who made that call? What was his motive? The caller was Kane Gamble, a 15-year-old from Coalville, a quiet town with a population of 33,000 coal pits and quiet cul-de-sacs. Far from any CIA outpost, Kane lived in a typical British brick house with his family. But behind closed doors, he was a different person. He went by the alias Cracka online. He was the leader of a group called Crackas with Attitude, or CWA, a loosely organized collective of young hackers scattered across the US and UK. Kane had no black turtleneck or sophisticated code. He was just a kid with a big mouth and some Google savvy. By day, he went to school like any teen. But in late 2015, his nights were filled with outraged typing. Kane was angry. Angry about US foreign policy, wars in the Middle East, Gaza, and drone strikes. To him, the CIA and FBI weren't heroes. They were villains. In forums and chat rooms, he ranted about corruption, the erosion of privacy, and the plight of Palestine. It sounded extreme, but he was earnest. His mother probably had no idea he even knew who John Brennan was. To her, he was just Kane in his room, often a bit stoned, hacking around on his laptop. But Kane wasn't working alone. He found other like-minded young rebels online. They formed KGUA through Discord chats and unsecured forums, sharing hacks, pranks, and dreams of exposing what they saw as the truth. Some were in the US, like a guy who went by default. Some were in the UK. Together, they had no money, no special tech, just anger, curiosity, and the belief that their voice was louder than anyone expected. Their actions were driven less by profit and more by the belief that powerful institutions could be challenged using their own procedures. But what happens when that anger finds a target? Who's first on our list? Kane and his crew huddled on Skype around a map of the intelligence community. Names tumbled out. James Clapper. One night, they targeted James Clapper. It was low-hanging fruit. Clapper, like many older officials, had accidentally posted some personal information online. They found his home phone, an address with a simple Google search. Basically, he doxed himself, Kane joked. A quick social engineering move gave them Clapper's landline details. Kane called Clapper's house and rerouted the home phone line to the Free Palestine movement. Now every call to Clapper's house rang through to activists. Default tweeted his respect for the hack. The kid community was buzzing. Kane thought this was too easy. Buoyed by this success, they breached a secret FBI database called LEAP, the Law Enforcement Enterprise Portal. They exploited weak access controls and grabbed some local criminal records. It was illegal, but thrilling. 1 minute a bored teenager, the next minute a ghost in FBI systems. They uploaded the files online with sneering messages. Now law enforcement agencies in the US began to whisper, "Who are these kids?" encouraged by how easily access was gained. At the top of their hit list was John Brennan, the CIA director. But how would they get to someone that powerful? Brennan had forwarded emails from his White House work account to his personal AOL account, thinking it was safe. But Cracka's team just needed one thing: the keys to that account. Kane's approach was simple. No viruses, no brute force. He used social engineering, the manipulation of people rather than systems. Instead of breaking encryption, he exploited trust, routine workflows, and customer support protocols designed for convenience rather than adversarial abuse. First, KOA did a phone number reverse lookup. Brennan was listed as a Verizon mobile customer. Kane dialed Verizon. He pretended to be a tech colleague, saying, "We have a customer on site. Tools down." The rep was confused but wanted to help. The challenge? Verizon demanded an employee verification code. Without thinking, Kane made up a convincing 6-digit code on the spot. It worked. The rep bought it. Suddenly, Verizon coughed up secrets. Brennan's account number, 4-digit PIN, backup phone number, home address, AO email on file, and even the last 4 digits of his credit card. Kane's grin widened. He now had virtually everything needed. Next stop, AOL customer support. Kane called, acting panicked. I'm locked out of my AOL account. He answered the security questions with the stolen info, card digits, phone numbers, even Brennan's mother's maiden name, which he obtained through public records. The AOL rep reset the password. Just like that, Cracka held the CIA director's email in his hands. He logged in, eyes widening. Hundreds of emails appeared. Many were old. Some were forwardings from the CIA. But the treasures were the attachments. He downloaded lists of senior intelligence officials. He messaged, "Default. Dude, I'm in. I got Brennan's email. We have full access." Default's webcam flared green with envy. A 16-year-old just outsmarted the CIA's best defenses. And what do you do when the CIA director is now just a contact in your phone? With Brennan's direct contact details, and those of his family, now in hand, Kane's mission shifted from intrusion to pressure. The first thing he did was harvest John Brennan's personal cell number and that of his family. He shared this with the rest of Kiowa. Now any one of them could dial Brennan or his family at will. No one was safe. Meanwhile, their online presence expanded. On Twitter, Kia's anonymous accounts lit up. They posted screenshots, a portion of the attachment with Avril Haines' name, a page listing White House guests. They dropped links to WikiLeaks pages they said contained the whole stash. With every tweet, the group taunted,
CIA, step your game up, homies. We own everything. Free Palestine.
At home, Kane smirked. His teenage grin was illuminated by the screen's pale glow. One member even went live on Twitch briefly without showing his face, confessing how they got in. Now came the harassment phase. They started spam calling Brennan's family. Kane reported via video chat, "I called Mrs. Brennan while she was on the phone with AOL support. She nearly screamed." Another shared a creepy screenshot. KOAA somehow plugged into Jay Johnson's smart TV to display a message on his living room screen. "I own you." Susan Johnson, the Homeland Security boss's wife, got a voicemail. "Hi, Spooky. Am I scaring you?" They even managed to reroute calls to Jay Johnson's house. On October 16th, but as they escalated, the walls began closing in. Word cracked out in the US. A major newspaper sniffed scandal. CIA director's email hacked, secrets leaked. Social media went crazy. The FBI and CIA set up. But all evidence was on Twitter and hidden web pages posted by faceless kids. The US government classified the activity as cyber terrorism, not because of technical sophistication, but because of the scale of exposure and psychological impact on officials and their families. The FBI's Eastern District was furious. They issued a rare press release. Hackers used social engineering to break into senior officials' accounts. Harassing phone calls, leaked secrets. One headline even called these guys stoner high schoolers. But no one was laughing. By September 2016, the FBI netted 2 Americans, Boggs and Default, Kiowa associates. They faced charges in Alexandria court. The news leaked, hinting at more members across the Atlantic. In Leicester, UK, the atmosphere changed. Broadband usage spiked as banks of servers got turned over. For the first time, crackles of an investigation flickered toward Kane. Back home, Kane barely noticed. He was still giggling at memes. The thrill party wasn't over yet, until it was. February 9th, 2016. Early morning. In Leicester, police arrived at a nondescript home on an ordinary street. Inside, Kane was in a hoodie, half asleep at the keyboard. As officers announced themselves, "Cybercrime Unit," something snapped inside Kane. He was arrested on suspicion of hacking US officials. Laptops, phones, even a soda can Coke Zero were seized. In his hazy realization, one thought crossed his mind. Game over. The empire of CWA stood still. For the first time, Cracka was exactly where he never thought he'd end up. Caught. But the story didn't end there. Across the ocean, the FBI had already nabbed 2 of his American buddies that same year. The dominoes fell quietly. CWA's broad campaign stopped. At trial, prosecutors piled on the term cyber terrorism, talking about families terrorized and secrets spilled. In court, Kane was somber. They called it justice. But Kane insisted he meant no personal harm. He was just a kid trying to make a point, he said. From his bedroom. The judge locked him in a youth detention center for 2 years. The world breathed a sigh of relief. Yet, the finale was not as neat as the FBI hoped. Other pieces of CWA remained unknown, untaken. The full membership and reach were never completely mapped,